Read and provide variables. Now I come to the next step, read out and provide variables. The PaperOffice AI can find certain document values completely independently, read them out and make them available as variables. As can be seen on the right, the entire raw text is extracted from the document and placed like a layer over the preview of the document. The document values can be read out using containers or regex expressions, but there is already a detailed workshop for containers. I add the direct link to the description text. In the current workshop I am only devoting myself to regular expressions, regex. This regex method is best suited for documents in which the positions of the values to be read can vary. We tell PaperOffice with the help of regex that it should search for certain words, numbers, or strings in the document. So that PaperOffice will read the values every time the document template is recognized and automatically store them as keywording for the document. To start the process, I click on Read Variables from Entire Document. A small collection of examples of the regular expressions can be found by clicking on Regex Collection of Examples in the dialog window. The complete list is shown in our ComDesk. To get to the ComDesk, I simply click on the question mark symbol in the top right corner. Then enter Regex in the search field and select the appropriate entry. The collection of examples is broken down according to various regex expressions, such as date format, amount, or text content. Regex expression, text. I am now maximizing the PaperOffice surface and starting with the first value, the customer number. For this I use one of the definitions of the regular expression, text, from the collection of examples. Namely, find specific content right from a word. To do this, I copy the regex from the sample collection and paste it into the field under the label, apply regular expression, match. The only thing I still must do now is, since I only need the customer number as a number, without the term customer number, I must add the term customer number instead of left text in the expression. Please note that the term must be specified exactly as it appears in the document. This also means case sensitive. This means that the value that comes on the right after the designation customer number is read out automatically. If I now click on Test Variable, I can see in the corresponding field that the variable has been read out correctly. Of course, I must provide a unique name for this variable, which is why I save the designation customer number. And finally click on Save. Please note, variable names cannot contain spaces. So, the first variable has now been created. I use the same regular expression for the values order number, invoice number, order, and invoice date. For this purpose, the term left text is later replaced by order number, invoice number, order, and invoice date in the dialog window. I'll skip this part and jump to the overview of my variables. I have now created 5 variables for my document template. Regex expression, date. As the next step, I would like to read out the delivery date from the invoice. The regex expression, text, can also be used here, but I will use the expression, date, for this. This expression is great for read out the date format. To do this, I open the collection of examples as usual and copy the printout with the date format, day, month, year, which is relevant for my sample calculation. Then name the variable and paste the expression you just copied into the appropriate field. Since the date I need is the second date on the document, invoice date would be the first and delivery date accordingly the second, it is important that I set the index to index 1 here. Index 0 would be the first hit, index 2 the second accordingly. Now I test the variable and immediately see that the value has been read out correctly, so I save the variable. Regex expression, amount. Now I would like to read the total from the invoice. To do this, I'll open the sample collection and scroll down to the amounts section. The total is an amount with decimals separated by comma. Accordingly, I copy the expression, name the variable total, and paste the expression into the appropriate field. If I now click on Test Variable, I see that it is not our final amount because the index value is 0. And as I have already demonstrated with the dates, the first value, in the sense of the first total, is read out. However, the last sum is relevant for our variable. Therefore I select last hit under Index. Click on Test Variable again and see that everything was read out correctly. Save the variable. Date split. As already mentioned at the beginning of the workshop, I would like to have subfolders created in my folder structure later. These should have the values from the document, month and year of the invoice date. The process of creating subfolders takes place later in the storage mask, but here I must define the regular expressions individually for the month and the year. To do this, I have to do the date split. For the subfolders I choose the invoice date. First, I go in the sample collection and copy the entire printout out. Now switch to the PaperOffice interface and name the new variable date split. As the next step, add the expression I copied and click on Test. Of course I get the full date first. As the next step, where it says split, I add a point. This means that wherever there is a point, the value is separated. After clicking on Test again, I see that the point has now been replaced by a comma. PaperOffice recognizes that the value has been split and shows a message from which I recognize that the variable can later be used in the storage mask and should be separated with the index 0, 1 and 2. 0 would be the day, 1 the month and 2 the year. I save the variable I just created. Now I have all the variables I need in full. I'll click Confirm and Continue to continue.